Hi everyone, I'm Raphael. I'm the CEO of Alice. I'm here with my CTO over here. And I'm here to talk to you about investable bounties. So if you don't know Alice, we're a social finance protocol that allows you to track exactly what impact your money makes. And what I'm announcing today, basically, which is really exciting, is V2 of our protocol. So this is like world exclusive at EthCC. Yeah, that's fine. All right, so when it comes to Web3 funding, especially for public goods, what we have is essentially a binary choice, really. You have bounties on the one hand, which are great because you can see exactly what your money is going to pay for, but for the bounty developer, it's not fantastic because, well, they basically don't have the money up front, so they have to deliver something and then they get paid afterwards, which is not great. Or you have grants, and grants are great for the service provider, for whoever's doing the work, but as far as the grant maker is concerned, they're just giving out a blank check, so they don't really know whether something is going to be built or not. And you see this across all the, so I'm sure you recognize the companies here, Bounties Network, Gitcoin for bounties, but also Metacartel, Moloch DAO. They're very much working on a grants basis. So this is where the impact delivery agreement comes in. It's a new financial primitive that allows you to essentially take investment from work that you're going to do further down the line. It's like a future cash flow financing primitive. The way that it works is whoever's doing the work, so a service provider, for example, let's take an example, it's somebody who's helping homeless people find a home, and they will make a certain number of promises about how many homeless people they're going to help, and they're going to set the price that they're going to get paid for each person that they do help. So in exchange for creating the impact delivery agreement, they're going to receive a certain number of payment rights, which are their claim on the future funding. If you move. So then funders who are interested in seeing this happen, they are going to fund the project. The money is going to be held in escrow, and they are going to receive the promises. So the money there, the funds there are only going to be paid out when the actual goals, the milestones, the promises have been delivered. Move on. Now, the key thing is that at this point, the service provider doesn't have any money to actually pay for delivering the goals that he set out. So he's going to sell some payment rights to an investor. So typically what the investor will do is they'll buy those payment rights at a discount. Let's say that I'm getting paid 100 DAI for every homeless person I find a home for. Well, if I want to make it interesting for an investor, I'm going to sell them for 80 DAI. And then the investor can get the upside, which is then what happens is that when a validator verifies, or the appointed validator verifies that the goals have been achieved, the promises have been fulfilled, it's actually the investors who can claim the funds instead of the service provider. So that's the basic idea. It's based on a new technical architecture. It's a new token standard called the Fluid Balance Token. Fluid Balance tokens essentially have, it's a triple accounting procedure that allows you to check how much each token can get. So in terms of like what's the potential earning from that from that token, how much has actually been withdrawn from escrow, and how much is available to be withdrawn right now. And what's interesting about them is that they're semi-fungible. So we're calling them fluid balance tokens. No, actually, still go back because the GIF is awesome. The reason why we call them fluid balance is that if you have somebody who has a token and who's already withdrawn what they're entitled to, but somebody else has the same token or for the same project, but hasn't yet withdrawn it, if I were to transfer my tokens to that person, the balances would automatically adjust, and the new balance would be recalculated. So it's easier if I show you a demo, so I'm going to do that now. This is the first DApp that we've built on the new Impact Delivery Agreement protocol. You can go and check it out at ida.alice.si. What it allows you to do is create these projects. So I'm not going to fill it in because we don't have time, but essentially what you're doing is you're doing your project name, project description. All of that is recorded in 3box. The key components here are that you're going to make a number of promises about stuff that you're going to achieve, and you're going to put how much you're going to get paid every time you achieve that promise, every time you deliver that promise, right? So if I'm saying that I'm going to help 1,000 homeless people find a home, I'm going to get paid $100 for each. I'm going to record that. I'm going to nominate a validator. I'm going to set a project deadline as well. So by when do I have to achieve those goals? Do I have to fulfill those promises? And then I'm all set to go, and I click deploy. So play on this. It's on the Rinkeby network. There's some really serious social impact stuff on there. There's also some less serious things, but you can see how people have been playing around with it. So there's a bounty for Justin Sun to eliminate himself. Anyway, it's fun. So I'm gonna go here to a serious one. This is a project to help. So you can read what it's all about. It's a project to help women and girls in Uganda with digital literacy. It's actually a project that's on the main Alice website that's being funded with V1 of the protocol, so you could actually go and fund that right now. This is obviously on the testnet. It's just replicated here, but it's just to show you how it works. So now I'm not the creator of this either. I've just browsed. I've found a project that I'd like, that I want to fund. So what I can do is I can actually put money to it. I want to see this change happen. I want to help these girls, these women, get better at digital literacy. So I'm actually going to provide some money here. I don't know the organization, so I'm not prepared to give them money, give them a blank check, and just for them to do whatever they want to do with it. I want to actually make sure that that is going to be achieved. So that money is going to be held in escrow, as I said before. It's not going to be paid straight away. It's going to be held in the project's funds. As soon as that's mined, this is Rinkeby. This is live, so this is why it's taking a little bit of time to process. There we go. So now you can see that I've funded $195. We're using test tokens here, so you can get more tokens if you want. But I've basically helped completely fund this. Now, if I'm somebody else, if I'm an investor, not a funder, I'm not really, at this point, I'm not really into the whole social impact thing. I want to make some money. And I believe that the creator of this project is actually going to deliver on these promises. So I can see that it's fully funded, but what I want to do really here is buy some payment rights. So I want to see what the deal is on the payment rights that the funder is, or the creator is giving me. And I can see here that there's a market. I'll show you how we do the market later. There's a market for payment rights. There are 500 payment rights that are for sale, and they have 100% ROI. Which means that if all of the promises are achieved, if all the promises are delivered, I stand to make 100% on my investment, which is a pretty good deal. It's a pretty good deal, especially because I can see that this project hasn't achieved any goals yet. It hasn't fulfilled any promises. That's probably why the ROI is so high. And actually, with this account, I've already bought some payment rights. So you can see that I own 550 payment rights right here. And I'll explain this bit here of what's redeemed, redeemable, and potential. At the moment, potential, everything is in this color, which means I stand to make $550 on this, but nothing has been achieved yet. So now I'm just going to move to the creator account. So if I go to the creator account, here we go. Now, I can see that my project is fully funded for all of my promises, which is awesome. And I've already received investment, as you saw from before. So somebody has actually given me some money up front in exchange for the payment rights, and I've used that money to go and train these girls and women up on digital literacy, and I'm ready to claim my first fulfilled promise, which I'm going to do now. So I'm going to submit that claim. I'm just going to put a code. There we go. Let's go to mine. Perfect. And while I wait for that to mine, I'm going to switch to validator mode. So the validator, in this case, is this account. That's been confirmed. And as the validator now, if I go to this same screen, I'm going to see that there's a claim that's ready to be processed, right? So I'm going to check the proof. Right now, on this DApp, you have to do it off-chain. So the charity has sent me proof that they've helped this lady with digital literacy. I'm going to review that. If I'm satisfied that that's happened, then I'm going to validate it. And that's going to basically trigger all of the payout logic in here. So while I wait for that to mine, I'm going to go back to my investor account because the investor is the one who's most interested in making their money. Again, for those who've just arrived, this is on Rinkeby. So ida.alice.si, connect to Rinkeby, and you can set up your own project, your own impact delivery agreement, your own investable bounty. So here we are. Now I've invested in this IDA. I can see that there's a claim that's been, or a promise that's been fulfilled, validated by validator, and all those payment rights that I bought before are now starting to give me some money. So I can see that I own 550 payment rights. There's 1 out of 40 promises that's been claimed. So I can start redeeming the pro rata of what's held in escrow. So this project is fully funded again. 2,000 after 2,000 has been funded. And so I can redeem my stuff. But what's interesting to note is here on the little dashboard, you can see that in blue here is the redeemable part. So as I said, the fluid balance tokens that we're using, this new standard, has a triple accounting or a triple accounting mechanism, which shows you how much in total this can allow you to claim from an escrow account, how much is redeemable right now, and how much has been redeemed in the past. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to redeem it. And then I'll do one last step for the IDA creator, because there's a really fun way to update the market on this app. So while that triggers, there you go. And if I refresh that, there, it's all yellow. So I've now got into my account that money from escrow. And if I am the creator, I'm going to go back to the creator account. Here. What's great is I'm starting now to have a track record of promises that I've achieved. Sorry, did I go on the wrong one? Yeah. All right, that was the validator account. Yeah. All right, so I'm the creator. You can see that I have a track record now of promises that I've achieved. So hopefully I'm going to give investors more confidence on my ability to deliver these promises. And because I have a track record, and also because my IDA is fully funded, I'm thinking, well, first of all, I can redeem my share of the money because I also still own some payment rights. I haven't sold everything yet to the investors. But I also think that offering a 50% discount on my payment rights is too high, given that I've started redeeming this. So I'm going to put slightly less. I'm only going to put a 20% discount, update the conditions, because that's a percentage. There you go, update the market conditions. That's going to mine. There we go. And once that goes through, it's going to adjust the investment market. So investors will get slightly less ROI when they buy the payment rights for this project. So that's how the demo works. As I said, this is on testnet, so it'd be really great if you go and test the DApp. Give us feedback. We're doing integrations with Kleros for arbitration, and Gnosis have been a real inspiration and have given us a grant to develop this. And here's all the contact details. You can go. There's a really extensive documentation on GitHub as well on fluid balance tokens and all the rest. So thank you very much. Yeah. Do I have time for questions or? All right.
One question about the order. Are payment rights being sold first before the project is founded?
No, so you create the project and immediately the IDA creator automatically receives all of the initial payment rights. So if I would never sell my payment rights, I would get anything that's held in escrow as I achieve my goals. I would have access to all of that escrowed money. And the way we've implemented here is for an investor market, right? So I can sell my payment rights at a discount, so I can get money up front. But equally, if I don't need the money up front, I could potentially drop the payment rights on subcontractors. So they get their share of the money if, as and when outcomes are achieved. So it's like a really flexible tool. You can do whatever you want with the payment rights, and you get them as soon as you create the project, as soon as you create the IDA.
Okay, and in the charity space, language is important. So investors is a tricky word because you have the impression someone's making money out of my charity. So could you maybe change the word to risk financiers?
Could be, yeah, absolutely. So
because they take away project risk, and that's good for the charity, for the donor.
Yeah, so this is a really flexible protocol. Anybody can build their own dApps on this and use the language that they want. Anybody can set up their funding platform. So, yeah. Thank you, guys.
You can take you can take questions outside if you want.
Outside, if you have any questions, just there.